What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We're in episode 73.
Yes,
73.
it is. Yep.
Hey, we got any players, man? 73.
Some linemen, some offensive linemen. I don't know. You pick them. I'm pretty sure there's a Miami Dolphin who's wearing 73 right now. Getting it in. Somebody with the Kansas City Chiefs, somebody on Alabama or Michigan. I don't know. One of them big boys on the line.
Long as it ain't the Lions, man, we good.
Come on.
Long as it ain't the Lions, we good.
The Lions winning this year. Michigan winning this year. It's a good year for Michigan football, man. Don't.
NFC just weak, man. That's it, man. That's all it is, man. Y'all trying to get over, man. Y'all think y'all at the top.
Hey, we doing our thing. We doing. Hey, look. Every game that we win this year is my Super Bowl. Okay.
It is. It's like I'm really been ready to get on you, but y'all doing so well. I just keep quiet. Like, it's petty of me. Like, y'all catch a L for me to say something, but y'all like 9-3 or something like that, man.
9-3. Yeah. Just took that L on Thanksgiving. That's about it. But other than that,
I was thankful for that.
Other than that, say you was thankful. This guy.
Y'all been good though, man. Y'all been good. It's been making my blood boil, man. But y'all been cool, man.
All right, so episode 73. So all the old linemen for Michigan and Detroit who wear 73. This one's for y'all.
It's for y'all, man. 73. This was off to a rough start. So anyway, man, my name's Jared, man. My co-host Denzel. And we're going to get into some cigar talk for right now. And then we'll figure out what everything else is going to be later on. But let's dive into the stars of the show right off the bat. And then I want to talk to you about an experience you had just recently.
Oh, yeah. And this lends into my cigar choices that I have. You want to go first or you want me to go? Because you got some choices. I got some choices.
I got some choices.
Either one of us have a definitive stick for the day, right?
I just made it. I just chose it. I made a definitive choice right now as I went into I got a huge bag here, but I made my choice. It was the one on top, so I'm going to rock with that. I got the Hererra Estelli by Drew Estate.
Okay.
And let me see. Have you done it on the show?
I don't think I've done it on the show. But I've definitely had them before. I have had them before.
Yeah. All right. So what we got here is Nicaraguan origin and Honduran binder, Nicaraguan filler. So that's what we're going to be rocking with. We've been talking about Drew a lot lately. He always manages to come up, so I might as well smoke a Drew Estate. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
So we're going to go with
that. Let's do it. I like it. But hey, man.
I'm going to punch it too, by the way. Because I hadn't punched in a while, so I'm going to punch.
I've been
straight cutting big time. So
my experience, man. First off, I got to say this. Love when I have a good experience in a humidor, a new humidor that I haven't been to. So first time at a humidor and having a good experience in a brand new place that you've never been. Like it's always good having your standard, your staple that you usually go to, your go-tos. You know where everything is. You got an idea what you're looking for, and you go, boom, directly. You might look around a little bit, but you kind of got an idea in the back of your mind what you want, and you know exactly where to go. But when you get the opportunity to browse a new humidor that's laid out nicely, it's like a kid in a candy store, man. So I had the pleasure of going to Cigars International, San Antonio. Cigars International. I didn't even know they had a hard standing building. Like I didn't know they had a few of these. So I apparently throughout Florida, Texas, you mentioned any other states happen? Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Florida, Texas, actually Pennsylvania. I think Texas is where they're most prominent.
Yeah, so come to find out. So I have to give San Antonio a big apology. Because when I first got here, I'm like, man, does San Antonio not love cigars? Like, where the cigar shops at? I had a hard time figuring out where the cigar shops are. And then come to find out there's several. And not only are there several, there's a whole Cigars International. And this place was laid out. It was laid out. Nice vibe, nice selection, good eatery area, bar area, plenty of seating inside and outside for cigars. The humidor was plentiful. And the good thing I like about the humidor is something that you actually inspired me with was the selection, like selecting cigars that you don't really know about. And they had a plethora of those. So that kind of led to my selections for the day. So Kristoff, I got a Kristoff. I always see them. I never really grab them. So I got a Kristoff. I can't see which one this one is particularly, but we got a Kristoff Maduro. I have a Joya de Nicaragua. Seen them before, but not in a plentiful fashion. So they had a lot of Kristoffs, a lot of Joyas, a lot of other cigars that you don't really see a lot, and they just had bundles on cigars of different styles or different types within the brands. Even some extensions on Oliva that I'm gonna have to grab next time I go. So that's gonna be fun to see, fun to watch. So,
and then, with that being said, did they have the lesser known names grouped together and then the big ones together, or was it just kind of intermingling?
Scattered out, yeah, kind of just like mingled throughout. I seen some Placencias over here, then a couple brands I didn't know. I seen some Man of Wars and some Olivas, and then a bunch of other things I didn't know. So they had them out, some Oscars, and I'm only used to seeing one type of leaf by Oscar, the one that's wrapped up, and then they had a bunch of other Oscars. I'm like, oh wow. So Cigars International, the one here in San Antonio at least, they have a lot of cigars of names that you don't really hear about, but then have them a plentiful amount with different types of cigars within those brands, which was really nice to see.
It looked like it was huge. Is it like grocery store big, or is it small?
No. It's not grocery store big. It's maybe your cutters,
like a Dollar Tree.
It might be like two of those. The size of the humidor cutter, about two of those. Because they had one side and on the other side. So about that. Maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe a little bit bigger than that. So, but they had them in there. They had them packed in there though. They definitely had them packed in there. And the last thing I had,
care of their cigars.
Oh yeah.
All right.
The area was
nicely from Cigars International.
Nicely humidified, nicely ventilated. Sometimes you go into a humidor, you come out, you smell nothing. You smell like just straight up cigar smoke or cigars. Like you just like got it all on you. Come out Cigars International, you don't even have a cigar smell on you. Might be a good thing or a bad thing because some people want that, that cigar cologne on them.
Yeah. That grown man cologne.
Yeah. Either one, Yeah. So my last thing I had is the Partagas Flor de Tabacos. It's the 1845 white band. So
you said that
the two that I
Partagas?
Yeah, the Partagas.
Okay.
So this one was price pointed at $17.50. That's the most expensive one I have. Mm-hmm. And I was making a point to grab the cigars of the brands that I didn't know, like in that medium vein between the $10, $8 range, even though they had some that were a little bit more expensive. So both of these are about $8, $9 for either the Joya and the Kristoff. So I don't know where I'm going to go.
May I suggest the Kristoff?
The Kristoff, okay. Yeah. I like it. Because honestly, Kristoff was my first choice. When I picked it up, it was the first selection I made. Kristoff was the one that caught my eye at first to say, I like this one. This might be a smoke for the day. And then as I was going on, I added the Partagas and I added the Joya. But I think we're going to go with Kristoff.
I've had Joya.
Okay.
Obviously had Partagas. I haven't had Kristoff, but Kristoff is a name I've seen. It's Kristoff.
Yep. With the K,
right? Kristoff. Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen Kristoff, but never had it before. But I haven't seen it like where I can buy it. I've seen it like online and stuff like that. So I'm curious about Kristoff. So
similar experience. I've had other Partagas and I've had other Joya de Nicaragua. This one particular is the silver. So I've had both of those brands, never had a Kristoff. So I'm with you on that. Let's go to Kristoff.
And since I'm going Drew Estate, it's nice to give another brand a look like that. So we can do that. And I got an unknown for next week. Well, not an unknown, it's a known, but I got a less popular brand I can go with next week. We keep it balanced for a little bit, giving everybody a look.
And I think that's important. I'm glad you implemented that a couple of weeks ago. To start giving these other cigars a look. You know what I mean? To highlight them and bring them to the forefront, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of great sticks out there that just aren't getting a shine. Because you have those more glamorous brands out there. Of course, we always mention Rocky. You got to throw Rocky out there because Rocky just doing what Rocky do.
Them out. He don't stop putting them out. He make it hard for you to go buy other brands and stuff, man, because he constantly putting one in your face.
And I would be a liar if I didn't tell you that while I was in Cigars International, was I looking for Rocky? I absolutely was.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's what happens though, right? For people like myself, right? And this could be an insult to some people with as much experience as me, but I don't go into a shop and like, either I feel like you do one or the other. Either you buy boxes or a case, or either you buy them individually. And if you buy them individually, how many are you actually buying if you're not buying one of the sample packs that come, how you had a little samples for five in a bag or something. So, yeah, if you're going just buying every couple of days on your own, how many are you getting at a time? Like me, I might get 2 or 3 at a time when I go in the humidor, and I'm in the humidor every week. You know what I mean? So with that being said, as long as Rocky putting out a new stick twice a month, he's got my attention. So it's taken away from when I can be getting somebody else with these, when I'm only getting like 2 or 3 at a time anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to remind yourself to give these other brands a look, or the big boys keep getting your attention. Because you're going to go buy your repeat ones that you say, I like that one. Let me get another one of those. Let me have that for the stash. I feel like that this week. And then the ones you're experimenting on get less and less along the way. So,
yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Anytime I go to the humidor, I'm looking to grab about 3. Every time, in and out. 2, if I'm in a rush. 3, if I got a little bit more time just to keep looking at, to say, okay, what's going to be I usually end up getting one that I know that I love, a staple, something that might be eye-catching, and then something that's different that I just might want to try. So those are my 3 factors. And a lot of times, Rocky's going to be an eye-catcher, or it's going to be something I want to try, or he's going to be one of the ones that I know that I want in my humidor. So he's gonna hit one of those 3.
All 3 factors, right?
Gonna hit one of those 3. So there's a good chance that those guys who are more prominent in the cigar world, that they're gonna grab you at one of those points, just like Rocky does. He's gonna grab you at something that you're interested in, something that you know that you love, or something that you haven't seen before that you want to try, or something that's just eye catching. Drew Estate's gonna do it. Davidoff's gonna do it. Placencia is definitely gonna do it. So sometimes it's hard to step away and just like, let me tear myself away and just go and grab something that I know I never tried, and a name that's a lesser known name. So we're making a point to get to them now. So I appreciate you for bringing that to the forefront, and then putting it in my mind too to say, hey, let's try these other guys out. So Kristoff, here we go. I need to find out the information about Kristoff real quick.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be good, man. That'd be good. What's off the initial getting started though, what is your first thoughts, man? You having anything like, and when I say that, I'm just asking, how you get that feeling like, oh, this is going to be a good ride, or I ain't sure about how this going to go. Like, have you already reached a point where you can kind of figure that out? Because for me right now, right off the bat, it's just a lot of creaminess is what I'm picking up on right off the bat. I'm like, okay, this is one of those.
Yeah, so sorry, I had to put a little bit more fire on that real quick. Yeah, that's always something I look forward to when I light a stick, especially something I never smoked before that I'm trying, because I'm looking for that taste off the rip. Kind of see where you're leading me to, how you're introducing yourself. The introduction is important. First impression is always the last impression. Not always true with a cigar, because sometimes you can finish off better than what you start. That is true. But that first impression is important. So with this, it's some solid toastiness. It's that just how do I want to explain it? Just a nice toast. Nice toast.
Yeah.
Nothing over the top with any spices. I'm not getting much spice. I'm not getting much sweet. Just nice toastiness right now. Nothing real smoky, but just like a nice earth toastiness. That's pretty much a nice introduction to say, hey, I'm here. We're lit. We're ready to go. It should be a good ride.
Right. I got a lot of creaminess, a lot of nuttiness, and a little bit of.
Man,
I can't
it seems like I'm
determine
having
if
a
it's
hard time
cocoa
keeping this guy
or
lit, though,
coffee
man.
yet.
All right,
I'm gonna blame you. I don't want to hear that the Cigar International's fault. You know what I mean?
It's got to be me. I try to go with the match and the cedar. I'm gonna put a little butane on it. I'm gonna put a little blue flame on that real quick, just so I can try to keep it lit. For some reason, I'm having a hard time keeping this guy going.
How far away is that Cigar International's store?
About a 15-minute drive from my house.
Okay.
Not bad.
It's gonna be your go-to spot now?
You know what? It might not be my go-to spot, only because there's a couple of humidors that I've already become really, really comfortable with.
Yeah.
But as far as distance, it might be 5 minutes further than the other one that I'm more comfortable with. There's a Finks that's out here that I absolutely adore. Like, it's just been a great experience every time I've gone in. But Cigars International, it's a little more flashy. It's a little bit more. Man, I tell you, like the rollout of this place.
Did they follow you? Did they follow you?
No, not at all. So you can purchase your cigars right there in the humidor, of course. But guys over there, he's smoking his cigar. He's enjoying his day, enjoying his experience. And he's like, hey, let me know if you need anything. Like that. Didn't say another word to me after that until I brought the cigars to the counter to purchase. And that was it.
Yeah.
Just let you go. So it was that was welcoming. They got the cutters all around, so you can go get your cutters, the baskets. You can grab you a basket or a tray or whatever you need. Yeah. I mean, it's like
home.
It felt good. It felt good. It could slowly creep into being my my staple, my go-to. But it's just this other cigar spot that I came to really enjoy the experience there. But that Cigars International experience was nice, man. It was nice.
What were you gonna say about the rollout?
I was just saying, like, when you go in there and it's just how they have everything ready for you, with the baskets, the tray, they got cutters all around. You can go and snip your cigars while you're going and just prepare everything that you need, light your cigars too, in the humidor. Like, it's just however you want it done. And then you go out to the bar area, the seating area. It was nice. So it's like it's one of those experiences that really feels good to either you're novice or you're a more experienced cigar smoker. Like, I think it can be an enjoyable experience for all types of cigar levels.
Was the people in there already? Like patrons?
It was a few. Not too many. It was early in the day. I think it opened up like maybe an hour before I got there. And stays open till like 2 a.m. So it's one of those spots. So it wasn't too many people there. It was nice chill for a Saturday.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm having a hard time keeping my Kristoff lit, man.
Man, you look like a rookie out here, man. How many episodes? It's 73, man. We in season 2, 23 episodes in, bro.
So I at least had 73 cigars in my lifetime.
At least a minimum of 73 sticks. That sounds like a lot of cigars. That ain't a lot of cigars at all, man.
It's not. It's really not. Because honestly, if I was able to smoke cigars in the manner that I want to smoke, I should be smoking 2 a day. 2 a day. That's 2 months worth of cigars, man.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's 2 months worth of cigars, man. In a year, you're supposed to be knocking out 700 in what, 20 of those? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
give or take a day or 2 here.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I mean that leads to something that's always been on my mind, like as far as the ratio of smoke. I know we probably mentioned it on the show a few times, but I gotta get my cigar count up. My cigar count is way too low. Way too low for my liking.
But now that we're on the subject of this, right? This is my question. For those who smoke 2 and 3 cigars a day, that's a lot of time out your day. So
It is.
when people say I smoke 2 and 3 cigars a day, do they actually smoke 3 different cigars, but you just never finish any of them? Is what I'm curious about. Because I'm not in a stage of my life where I can finish
2
cigars in a day. Yeah.
Yeah, barely to the point where I can finish 1 cigar a day.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of getting started and then coming back to that cigar another day, the next day or 2 days later. Like hardly ever have I sat down and was able to run through a whole cigar in one sitting. It's almost rare.
Yeah, that's potentially 6 hours of your day if you smoking 3 cigars. You know what I mean? Like, So when people say that, I'm always like, I have to ask somebody that does it eventually, man. Do you finish any of your cigars, man? You keep talking about you smoke 2 or 3 a day. How many do you finish?
Or do you get to the point of saying, I only like to smoke my cigars? Because I can honestly see that. Depending on what the cigar is, that I don't mind finishing my stick by the time I get to the beginning of the final third. Because some cigars go downhill after that final third.
Yeah,
depending on what the cigar is, some have a great finish. So you have some cigars that you want to smoke all the way in through the final third because that's where they peak. Some peak at the final third, but then you have some cigars that are going to kind of fall off on that final third. I've had a handful of those. So it depends on your cigar. Like for me, I can consider my cigar being finished by the time I get to that, first few minutes into that final third.
First 2/3 and you good. As long as you hit your first 2/3, you good with a stick in most cases. What you say.
Mm-hmm.
See, but from my understanding, I think a lot of that is the final third being kind of hit or miss has a lot to do with a lot of outside factors and then all the heat. You know what I'm saying? That is been going throughout the entire smoke, along with factors of upkeep and things of that nature, but I don't know. Ain't that why Nub only do 2/3 of a stick? Because they like
that. I mean, that is something that we talked about when we talked about Nub. Nub, they specialize and say, hey, look, this is when the cigar gets good. So we're gonna get you when the cigar gets good. And we're just gonna hit you right with it. We're gonna hit you in the sweet spot. That's the whole point of Nub. You know what I'm saying?
And nobody has taken that from them since then. It's like they just Now, for those of you who ain't been following for long, or don't follow us on social media, which we ain't active there, I'm sorry. But our Instagram specialized in a short stick, a weekly short stick. We were giving people information on the best short sticks is out there, and we give you reviews of it every week. It's a good amount of short sticks out there, but it ain't like just a plethora of short sticks running rampant. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like more people would feed into that. You know what I mean? That whole thought process.
Because honestly, that was a thing for me that I really like to lean towards short sticks because we only have a certain amount of time. We don't have a lot of time carved out to fully get through the full experience of a stick. So if you can kind of give me a shortened version of a great cigar experience, I'm willing to jump on it. That's why we started looking for those and highlighting those short sticks, the short story, the nubs, and other sticks like that. Because sometimes we only might have a short time to get through all of the things that we love about a stick and minimize that era of getting to that great moment. Because sometimes we get to that second, third, and even on the show, a lot of times when we finish our show stick and we get to our review, we've just tapped into the second, third. And then we put our sticks out. When we might come back to it later the evening of the day that we did a show, or the next day, and then the cigar, the integrity is not the same. Yeah, because a lot of times mine is just sit on my my ashtray. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, you said it.
A lot of times mine will be still on my ashtray. And I just pick it up and I just go for it. I don't always put it in a bag, which, I mean, that's honestly, I know I'm not the only one.
You be clipping it?
I clip it, yes. Yeah, I clip it. Not all the time. At least 75% of the time. 75% of the time I'll clip it and I'll sit on my ashtray and I'll come back to it. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm planning on smoking it later that evening. Like I'll come back to it in the evening and I'll finish it off then. If I'm doing it the next day, sometimes I'll try to put it up. Sometimes I don't. Being honest. I'm being honest.
You being honest, man. I'm the same way, man. But I ain't want to put that out there. They ain't got to know that about us.
You could have let me take the heat. I could have took the heat on that one.
Hey, man, you already put it out, man. I felt guilty, man, leaving you out there by yourself, man, carrying that cross, man. I had to get up there. Come on, man, give me this side, man. I carry it with you, bro.
I'm with you. Yeah, man. So
check it out. But them short sticks, man, they last an hour too.
They actually do. You get the right one. To get the right one, they will give you about an hour.
A short story will go for about an hour, man. You know, you're going to get you at least 50 minutes out of it, you know, and if you casually smoking it, you know what I'm saying? If you just hitting it like a cigarette smoker, you might can knock it out in less time, but.
All right, so I never gave you the details on the particular Kristoff that I have. It's a Criollo Kristoff. Criollo. Criollo?
Spell that.
2 L's. Criollo.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You got me there.
So let me go ahead and give you what I got real quick. So just to give you the profile on this one is supposed to be a more spicy stick, but I'm not getting that off gate. So it has that Habano wrapper, which are known to be spicy. Dominican Republic, so a DR origin. And binder Dominican, filler Dominican, and Nicaraguan. So we got Habano with that, a large part of it being Dominican.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be spicy. It's not spicy.
You've been picking up on any spice? I mean, have you still been craving spice? That's what I meant to ask you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and here's the crazy thing. I think now in our cigar experience, as we've been experiencing different types of cigars, like I had the diesel whiskey roll, and I kind of have that craving for that smokiness. I almost picked up another diesel today. Almost picked up another Man of War today too. Almost did it.
You all out of them?
No. Oh, when I was at the humidor, they had a bunch of other Man of Wars. I'm like,
some different shapes. Different ones altogether. Okay.
Yeah. So now that I've kind of opened my mind to that smokiness too, opened my mind to the spice, I find myself having those cravings every now. Like, I want a spicy stick. I kind of wanted a smoky stick too. So it's like I want a full array. It's like I'm to the point of wanting a cigar buffet. You know what I mean? Like
but not oily yet though.
Not oily hasn't hit me. No, actually no. Oily has hit me. Oily, not leather, but oily has hit me. And I think that Davidoff did that with the oily. Because Davidoff does have an oily stick that the Royal Release, but it's nicely done. Only thing is I'm careful because I don't know how many other people are going to do that oily cigar like Davidoff is going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to inch into it carefully. You got to be cautious.
Yeah.
Got to be cautious going into that because not everybody's going to do it to that high quality.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing, man. Like last week when I had the stick, I increased the score on my stick last week because the oily and leather kicked in and it was done well in a way where I was like, okay, I like that. I'm still not craving oily or leather either, but at the same time, I'm at a point where my palate is open to that if you can do it the right way. Before I used to be anti that. And maybe this is a conversation to say revisit our boys, you know what I'm saying, at Gurkha that we just keep insulting.
I don't know. Hey, you know what? I'd be willing to do it. We went back and revisited Brick House, which I'm still not a fan of. Not a fan. It wasn't as bad as my initial experience, but it still wasn't great. But as we mature, maybe, it's like going back and thinking about your first time having a drink. an alcoholic beverage. And it might have been probably the worst thing you ever tasted. But then now you go back, it's like, it's not that bad because your palate's kind of matured a little bit. So it's like, oh, it's not that bad. But then at the same time, no dig to E&J, but E&J is still E&J. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. E&J is still going to be E&J. E&J is still going to be a certain level of brandy that is just not going to be, to a certain caliber.
Hey,
it's just not.
You insulting a part of our demographic here now when you say E&J.
I am.
They're going to be insulted by that.
But look, I say that affectionately though. So if you're offended by me saying E&J, you got to know my history with E&J. I drank a ton of E&J in my time. E&J was my friend at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? I did consume me a good amount of E&J at one point in time. So it's no slight to it, but it's just being realistic. Any liquor house or liquor store that you go to, where you gonna find E&J?
Towards the bottom shelf.
You're gonna be looking below your knees.
You're gonna look down. Down, there go that E&J, that Erkinger. Down.
So they're already telling you. E&J is already telling you we are here. So it's just sometimes you just got to understand it. You got to know what it is that you're engaging in, and you understand what level, what caliber of what it is that you're smoking or that you're consuming. So no slight to them, but it's just understanding what you are consuming.
I got you.
See, me and J had some nights, man.
Yeah, man. Everybody done had some nights with E&J at some point, But that's what I say. Some of y'all still having nights with E&J. Y'all need to move on now.
Get off them E&J nights.
Yeah, man. There's another side of the window, man. If you just go look through the window, you'll see you on the wrong side of the window, man. You can cross over, man. You can do better. We're in the age of opulence now. We're not gonna keep doing the E&J on y'all, man. Y'all got to understand.
Age of opulence.
New times around here. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit, man.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question. On the internet, there's always new trends and new things that are developing, man. Are there anything that's out there that you seeing people are beginning to do online that is a trend that you like, that gotta go? I'm opposed to that. That's gotta go. When we gonna get off that? Or that's whack. You know what I mean?
You know what?
Grinds your gears. Shout out to Peter Griffin.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I'm at this weird place to where I haven't seen anything egregious. So maybe nothing that's hit me yet, unless you can point it out to me right now, that really throws me off and say that's got to go. Because I'm at this point of dismissiveness, man.
Okay.
I'm at this point of dismissiveness. I don't know if it's the new decade or that I'm in and a new mindset that I've gotten to, but it's like, let the kids be the kids. Let the young adults be the young adults. So like even with hip hop, like hip hop is it's not bothering me as much as it used to be. I might not like it, I might not engage in it, but at the same time, it's like, I'm dismissing.
Girls can rap as nasty as they want to. You cool with that? They can put the camera on the ceiling and do the prank videos. You good with that? The guys can do their prank videos or whatever. Starting fights with the prank videos. All this stuff is, you just like, man. You know what, man?
Because I've seen some, like, especially like those annoying prank videos in the store, the racist ones. I've seen those. The guy walking up to somebody on the phone and saying something crazy to a female, but they act like they on the phone.
Recently. Yeah.
And it's like, whatever. But I'm so dismissive to it now, though. So at one point before then, like, I guess say maybe a year, 2 years ago, I was probably at the point of being annoyed with so many things. And I don't know what it is. It feels like the last few months I've kind of shifted to being like, I don't care. I don't care. Like I even with like I said with the hip hop music, I might steer away from it, or even more so, even understand it. Like with the we talked about it recently. Coi Leray, you brought her up to me. I had no idea who she was. Even with the Glorilla, and who's the other one? Sexy Red. I don't know if you ever watched that video or heard that song. I try to piss you off with it, and then at one point I was like, you know what? I'm gonna delete the message I sent you.
You know what it is? Avoid her name. I don't know the song. I mean, I'm sure I've heard, but I know the name at this point because you can't get away from the name. Eventually,
yeah,
you know, everybody talking about the same stuff. So,
but I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and that's a weird place for me because I'm pretty sure you posed that question with knowing that, hey, I'm probably pissed off about something.
Yeah,
but I was watching Charleston White doing the podcast with Cam Newton. Yeah, and he was going off about everything and this and that, and I'm sitting back like, as much as a activist as I used to be, I used to think with that activism mind. I still do to a sense, but it's like I'm trying to navigate where I get in now because I don't respond the same. At one point, I would respond like a Charleston White. Like how he was so pissed off about this and that. I don't get this, man. F that guy, F this guy, F what they doing over here. Why they got to say this and why this is this like that. I'm like, I just said this point is like, what's that?
I'm putting you on the spot.
What'd you say?
You gave up on us?
I might have. You know what? It might come from a place of hopelessness. I might feel like hopeless. Like, who am I? Like, how can we fight? You know what I'm saying? To push back. You know what I mean? It's like, it's nothing we could, like, maybe we're at a point to where it's too far gone that what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong for it. I could be wrong for it. But it's like at the point of, like, you said what?
I think you're just old. You're just old. Like, and I told you, I reached a point where I don't care about stuff that don't affect my life anymore. Like, you know, like I watch the news and I just feel nothing for nothing that doesn't affect me anymore. Like, it's not in a rude, evil way, but it's just like you're at a stage of your life. It's like, all right, I got to figure my own stuff out, man. I can't be concerned with stuff that I can't carry extra emotional baggage that doesn't.
I think that's what it is,
or that I don't affect and it doesn't affect me. But I say you got old because you lose a lot of your fight when you got all that fight in you when you're young. This is injustice. This is wrong. This is that. You can just carry all this baggage around when you're young. Then when you get older, I think you emotionally, you just like, I got to relieve some of this stuff off of me. So I can only control these things in my household. Let me control these things. And the rest of this is like, it's for y'all that still got fight in you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no fight left.
That might be what it is. I might be at a point to where I'm clearing things off my shelf because I only have a certain bandwidth for certain things. As you become older, your bandwidth gets a little shorter, a little smaller. You only have tolerance for certain things. You only have enough energy for certain things. So how do you get to the point of accomplishing what you need to accomplish, but then still worrying about this over here? And not saying that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. If you got the energy and you got the space, you got the time for it, absolutely, go for it. If that's your passion, go for it. You know, if you can right some wrongs, go for it. So I'm not one of those people who are saying, you know what I'm saying, just the world needs to go to calamity and whatever happens, and whatever goes down and just let people be. But it's like, how much fight can you have? You see so much changing over the world, throughout the world, over all the years, all the decades. You know, you're talking about seeing life from, and I'm not saying like we're old or anything like that. We're not completely old, but we've seen enough. We've seen the 80s. We've seen the 90s. We've seen the 20s, the 2000s. We've seen the 2010s. We've seen the 2020s now. You know, we're talking about 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. We're in our fifth decade of seeing life. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen the trajectory of where things are going, how far we've come on certain things, how far away, how far gone we've gotten on certain things. And it's like, what can you do? What can you really do? You know, how much influence and control do you have over the masses? Not saying you don't have control or influence over your personal circle, you know, or your personal reach, those you can reach and touch in your personal communities. But grand scope, what can you really? I can't control the media. I can't control the access to media and what my kids can have access to. We've talked about that on the podcast episodes ago, tens of episodes ago. Of man, how do you balance what is being pushed to your youth, to your kids? You know, they can turn on their internet on their phones. And they got access to everything in the world. Everything. Right. There's nothing that's not accessible to them. Nothing. Whether it's good or bad, everything is accessible. Not like when we were 10. What was accessible to you when you were 10 was from that light post to that light post. That was it by it.
That was your world.
That was your world. Now these kids are exposed to everything. So it's like, the way you combat that is each individual household, each individual, parent or whoever it is you just have to hyper focus on your entity. And it's just like us as adults, us as the older adults, we got to come together and have a meeting of the minds and figure out, okay, what should we say is acceptable to our youth at this point? Because some of these 20-year-olds, they far gone. Honestly, I feel like it's no reaching them. You know what I'm saying? And even those who are about 15 to 20, that's touch and go. So you're only able to shape from 14 and under. So it's like, what kind of influence
were we any different? Let me ask you that. Were we any different? It's easy to feel that way, but step outside for a moment, you know, and be like,
I think so. I think so. Because even at 14,
I remember 15, feeling like, forget some of what my parents was talking about too. I remember feeling that way at times. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all don't know, man. You know, it's different. I had those feelings at a point in time. Like,
no, I think we all did, and that's just part of our coming of our age. You know, as you come of age and as your mind starts expanding, but our minds can only expand to a certain point.
Yeah.
Now it's like there's no limit. There's no limit. There's no limit to a 15-year-old mind expansion. But to us, even though we still had that, it was only but so much. It was a limit to it.
Right.
So yes, we were still the same. So the concept, just like humans don't change. You know, we are the same when we're a baby to the same as when we become old and gray, you know, but it's those outside external influence that does change and our access to it. So yeah, we had that when we were our age. All fairness, yeah, we were like that in our early teens. Yeah, we all had it. You know,
that's a good point though. We were limited on the outside.
It was limited still.
That's a great point. Yeah. Our world is limited to our street corner and what we saw, and the slang we used. Like,
yeah. So okay, so case in point, and this is someone who lived in different countries before you met me in college. But when you met me in college, I dressed a certain way. I talked a certain way. I had a certain mindset because of where I came from. Yeah, that's the guy from Jacksonville. Look at how he cuffs his pants. You know what I'm saying? So I was exposed. Like, this is what we do down in Jacksonville. That was my argument back then, right? Oh, this is how we do it in Jacksonville, though. Everybody like this down there.
That's what you said.
You know what I mean?
You had your headband and your cuffs, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what y'all did. Like,
that's what we did. So I was only exposed to that. But now my son, when he becomes 18 and he goes off to college, he's going to have the exposure of seeing what everybody across the world does.
Yeah.
So he's on par with it's like everybody's kind of lockstep at that point in what they see. Yeah. So nobody's new and nobody's original. When I met y'all and you and everybody everybody had a little bit of different thing about themselves, even though we were all in the same state. You were over here in Nash County, and these guys were over in Goldsboro, and I was in Jacksonville, and this guy was in Salisbury, and we were all in the same state. but we all were a little bit different.
Yeah, slightly different. Yeah.
All slightly different. But now everybody across the world is on the same page because you're seeing the same things at the same rate.
Dang, boy. You know what though? You got me thinking about that, reminiscing on those times. How do you have your own, as the young boys say, how you got your own Riz? Everybody, no wonder everybody Riz the same. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all all,
what sets you apart now?
Blocking one another. Yeah. It's everybody's influenced by everybody. Before you could be like, you could take pride in your neighborhood because your neighborhood is what gave you who you were. Your swagger came from your neighborhood and the people in your neighborhood that you might have took this from or took that from. You know what I'm saying? But now it's just like,
this what the OG from my hood says this was cool. Everybody shooting for him. Like you were able to have a certain sector of OGs that can kind of control their environment, can control what's being put out in this area.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Man in that area, and everybody was influenced by
trying to be like him.
And it trickled down.
And of course, you had some influence by like popular culture, hip hop, and TV shows and all that stuff. But wasn't nobody really trying to be like the superstar. People want to be like that.
You might not have had access to the stuff that the people on TV had. Mm-hmm. You had what was in your stores in your neighborhood. Wasn't no shopping on the internet then. So whatever was at your community, at your mall, is what you wore.
That's another point.
Yeah.
Is all the fashion from around the world, what you see, you can get it. You can get it. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to live in New York to have this. You didn't have to live in LA to get that. You know, whatever we had in Jacksonville is what we had in Jacksonville. And the furthest you was going to get it was either you're driving up the mall in Raleigh or you're driving to the mall in Wilmington. You know what I'm saying? You're going 2 hours that way, you're going an hour that way. And that's the extent to your fashion.
Yeah, that was how you dressed at that point in time. Like, and that's crazy, bro, because like now I'm thinking about it. I remember in high school, like all the local high schools and stuff, we knew who were the fashionable people. So we would be like, oh, the people in that high school, they don't dress as good as the people at this high school. Or this area is known to be the fashion forward people. And they're like the premier fashionable people. You know what I mean? Like, and it would just rank. And you could go meet a girl from out of town and tell her where you from. And she had an idea what she thought your swag was based off of, oh, you from so-and-so. Like, and you knew different areas to be different types of people, man. But it ain't even that no more, man. You can't even grade nobody. Like, if somebody say I'm from Idaho, it's like, whatever, okay.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can borrow slang from all over the place. Before, if you come from out of town to somewhere and they're saying a certain thing, you might not ever know what that means. They're speaking a whole other language. You have no idea what that is in DC. You have no idea what that is in Mississippi. You have no idea what that is in New Orleans. Because the access to it. But now I can talk like somebody from Philly and never been to Philly before. I can talk like somebody from Cali and never been to Cali before.
True. It's true. Man, I went my whole life thinking everybody said, I went my whole life saying toboggan for a winter hat or a scully. And I learned in the last 10 years that's not even a thing. But I'm from North Carolina. That's what we all say. You ask anybody in North Carolina, what's a toboggan? We all gonna say a scully. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just learned in the last 10 years that don't exist. I seen somebody on TikTok talking about it. Like, does anybody know what this is? No. The girl was asking, does anybody call this a toboggan? It's like, yeah. But the whole comments was like, nah, never heard of it. The only people that was chiming in saying it's a toboggan is North Carolinians. Well, I'm from this part of North Carolina. Yeah, that's what we call it. I have heard it as that. And the girl, she made like 2 or 3 videos talking about, this is all I know it to be. I didn't even know that this wasn't it.
I mean, like,
somebody was like, what, you talking about a sleigh? Like, she was like, no, a hat.
Yeah.
And she wasn't black, so it ain't a black thing. She was like an Asian girl.
It's a regional thing. I mean, and honestly, I didn't know what it was. Like, back when we were in college, y'all all called it a toboggan. To me, it was a skull cap. I remember having that conversation back then.
I remember having that talk with you about it, yeah.
Right, no, that's a skull cap. We didn't call it.
You just hadn't been in North Carolina long enough, I guess.
Right. And then also the area that I was from in North Carolina, not everybody's not everybody's
it's a lot.
Everybody came from all over the place. Yeah, military town.
Area.
Yeah, military town. So people came from all over the place. There were very few native North Carolinians there.
Good point. Yeah, man. We all called it that, man. So you really jumping into some stuff that's making some interesting points to me, man, that I hadn't even really considered, man. Yeah. Riz is dead. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doing the same thing and everybody's influenced by that. So yeah, of course the kids are gonna be a little harder to reach when our influences are so vast.
It's an uphill battle when it comes to dealing with our youth, man. It really is an uphill battle. And maybe I'm at a point to where it's just like, you got it. I think I'm too far to the left now. I don't know. Maybe I'm at the point where I feel like I'm getting out of touch and ain't no coming back. And I think every person probably gets to that point at a certain age.
I think so.
I don't know if the age is now. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's like, you got it. I'm in my world. You're in your world. I got to get what I got to get. You got to get what you got to get. And I can't see it how you see it. And we're not going to see eye to eye.
Let me ask you this. Because for me, I feel like that also. But you said something earlier, which I relate to. I still affect my circle. So if you're young and you're in my circle, I still will attempt to help you, but I'm not fighting that internet battle. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you
like,
can.
Y'all got it on the internet. But maybe if my circle was a huge internet circle, I would fight the battle. You know what I'm saying? On the internet. But because you get what I'm saying? And maybe you would too. Yeah. And maybe as this podcast grows and we have younger people that our message is touching.
That voice has more weight.
Then our voice will have more weight and we're fighting the battle a little bit more. But as of now, it's just like we kind of with our demographic, our listeners are our demographic. You know what I'm saying? Like and our circle is our circle. So we only affect our circle. You know what I mean? So maybe. I'm just throwing that out as a maybe because at the end of the day, somebody from our age group needs to still be a voice out there. We can't totally let them run free.
No,
I
agree. At the
same time, I get why it's not just you and I.
And
fighting.
The thing is,
you know what I'm saying?
The beautiful thing that we had in our day and age, even though we said we had craziness, we had people talking out of pocket, and we had fads that were unfavorable to me, we still had voices. We had voices.
Yeah.
And those voices, they were prominent. And when they had the floor and they had the microphone, they had attention. And right now it's hard to get attention because there's so much media, so many voices, so many things that are able to be, put into the atmosphere that it's hard to gauge. It's hard to steer attention away from certain things. Like back in our day, like if you had a figure in media or hip hop or popular culture and they spoke on something, it was easier able for them to garner attention because the noise was not as much as it is now. It's so much noise that the most prominent person has to speak loud, still extra loud, just to get attention of our youth, of our of population. So it's tough. And maybe I'm just at a point of where I'm like, it's too much of an uphill battle. And maybe I'll get that second win and say, all right, let's get up this hill. Let's make it happen. But right now I'm looking up that hill like, you know what? I'm good right here. You know what I mean?
You know what? We really doing it old school in a sense though, because I know for myself, the biggest voices in my world, and I think the same thing stands true for you too. The biggest voices in my world weren't the people on the TV. It was the people that I knew, the men in my life. Those are the men that I took their words and it held more weight. But they weren't speaking out to the world. They were speaking to the people in their circle. I happened to be in their circle. So they were speaking from them.
Twofold. They were speaking to people in their circle. And then at the same time, you weren't affected with as much noise as the youth is affected with now. There's so much noise. So much noise. Even me as a 40-year-old man, sometimes I have a hard time of not being distracted.
You as a who?
A 40-year-old man.
Okay.
Hey man, I've been embracing that 40, man. My walk been different, man. My reds is a little different now.
Hey man, I just want to let it be known. I don't know what it feel like to say that. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can put that out there. But go ahead, continue with your point. I don't want to get you off of it.
No, 40 feels different though. 40 feels different. It's just like, I forgot the point I
was. Hey man, let's review these sticks, man. Let's review them, man.
But there's so much noise, man. So much noise. I was saying before we get to review, yes. Even at my point, even at my big age, I'm drowning in a lot of noise. And sometimes it's hard to detach myself away from the noise and get back focused on certain things. So I can imagine what these kids are going through when it comes to so much noise and focus. That's it. That's all I had to say.
Now imagine, and on top of that, you say as a 40-year-old man who's secure in who he is, who knows who he is, has his own values, his morals, and got all that stuff figured out, versus a kid who's still trying to figure out who they are in this world, watching all the noise. And that's why a lot of kids are confused and don't know who they are. You know what I mean? And they're chasing stuff. They're being impressed by stuff that they should have never allowed to impress them.
And they don't even know what they're chasing.
Where they should have never been. Yeah. Message.
It's tough.
Anyway, man, let's go ahead and review these sticks, man.
All right, let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm ready to talk about mine. So I'm gonna get to it. If you don't mind, you cool with it?
Of course. You cool. All right.
Lord yours. So Kristoff, man. One thing I would say, I regret passing up on them so often. I'm gonna start by saying that I do regret, based on this cigar, I do regret on passing up on Kristoff because it was a good smoke. It was a good smoke. I actually enjoyed it. To this point, you see where I'm at with it. And we talk about how long these cigars last.
Yeah,
dog, boy.
Yeah, you got ways to go, brother.
I'm still in that first third, and I'm actually liking it. It's one of those smokes that didn't have a lot of punch in the beginning. That those a lot of characteristics that stands out. That says, "Ooh, I like this smoke. I'm gonna get nestled in and really enjoy this." It's one of those kind of that creeps on you to say, "All right, we good. We like this. We like this. This is a good place." And that's what this cigar did. So it just gave me some toastiness. Nothing that really stuck out in the beginning. Even though the profile said it's supposed to be a little stronger, a little harsh with some pepper, I didn't get much of that at all. I couldn't detect it. Maybe it's my palate. Maybe my palate's that mature. I don't know. We're at that point to where we're looking for pepper now. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for spice. So even when we're looking for spice, maybe it just came right underneath that level, that barometer that we're gauged at. The flavors I got a lot of like I said, that toastiness, a little pecan, however you say it. That's something different that I haven't gotten, and I think that's what I like too. That nuttiness, and I can kind of I can pinpoint it more of where it's at, like a pecan or a chestnut or something like that. It's really good, really nice. My smoke was pretty creamy once I got it going, like not too creamy, but just a good thick smoke, and nice and smooth. Like I said, not too much pepper. So Kristoff, I will be revisiting you. Only because I want to see what else you got. And like I said, this was at one of those lower price points, maybe like $9. They had so many other ones that went a lot higher, but I wanted to keep it kind of that mid-level stick, or maybe mid to lower level stick. I'm not going to give it a 4, but I do see the promise of where it's going because it's one of those cigars that seem like it's going to go up from where we're at. Start off here, nice and easy, and it's starting to go up. I'm going to say right now where I'm at, and we see where we're at, still in that first third, about to hit that second third, and probably maybe about 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to say 3.8. 3.8.
Okay. Nice solid score from 1 to 5. 3.8 is good. For me, I'm going to go ahead and get into the review of this Hererra Estelli. You see, I'm about this far in, so I'm getting into I'm in my second third here at this point in time, but early into it. For me, I started off the stick. It had a lot of thick, clean, creamy smoke that I was picking up on. A lot of nuttiness in this stick. I also picked up on a lot of coffee notes in there, which came together almost as one, where it felt like one note at a point, but you can tell the difference between the two. I picked up on some cedar on it. I'd also say on some of the initial draws, I picked up on just a very slight amount of spice, which always can be confused with harshness upon lighting your cigar up. So you never can tell. It didn't stay around long, so I don't know if that was a part of the actual stick or not, but it was there. At this point in time in the stick, I'm picking up on a lot of earthiness within the stick, and that's kind of where I'm at with it so far. Now, as of this point, because I have had a lot of different notes and they did do everything well, it will reach the coveted 4, but it will stop at a 4. 1 to 5, I'm going even 4.
Even 4. That's still solid. Like you said, coveted 4. Hit a 4. That puts you in a class.
Yeah, you are. And
that's the stamp.
It's a stamp. And a 3.8 to get that close to it and to be a brand that we're unfamiliar with is also a nice thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? For that brand, whether people realize it or not. Because you can easily hit that 3 number in the front and think that it's, okay, that's just the average stick. No, that's above average. Like
no.
Even is average.
Yeah. Anything 3 is above average. 4, you're covered it. Like you're at a point to where like, this is solid. But one thing I did want to point out before we get off here, where it lost points with me. So we talk about aroma a lot. I meant to mention this. We talk about aroma a lot. It misses me with the aroma. I tried my best to light it with cedar, with a match, all of that good stuff. And Kristoff, with this one right here, this one in particular, that aroma does not hit me where I want it. And that's probably why I'm definitely giving it mine in the 3s, because I look for aroma a lot now. I want a good aroma when I'm smoking my cigar. And this one's just not quite there. Not quite there with the aroma. The flavors on the palate, great. Aroma for the overall ambiance, it's a miss. I will say that. Sorry, Kristoff, because I know I gave you a 3.8, and now I'm bashing you at the end before we get off. But
that's very informative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because that's a way of knowing why you missed being to that next level, to put you amongst, your highest peers.
Aroma is important to me. It is important to me now. I love once you experience a cigar with a nice aroma, because a lot of cigars don't really get you that aroma that you want. There's a certain class of cigars that get that aroma, but once you experience that aroma, that just heightens the experience just that much that I look for it. Like I gotta have it almost. So, but I can't appreciate a cigar that doesn't give me the aroma that I want.
Well, get this though. I mean, cigars, that's part of the experience is taste and smell. You know what I'm saying? That's the main senses that we're using in this. So you always want to make sure that you got those two. Those are imperative. And on top of that, it ain't nothing like walking by somebody's house and smelling, stick, being like, oh man, they got it going on in there.
Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah. Because you can smell an atmosphere like, ooh, somebody's smoking a cigar. I be getting that when I'm running. Like, I got to smoke me a cigar when I get back home. I like that. I'm going to light me one up.
Right. Hey, y'all, that's episode 73. It goes to some random linemen for any Michigan football team. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. Keep your sticks up high.
Yes, sir.